Hello, welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters. I'm away on holiday at the moment, so my content is a little bit not different from normal. But today we actually have an article which I actually found a little while ago. It is, of course, linked below, so you can go and have a look at it. You all know that I work for the gig economy in addition to my acting. I've not done any acting jobs this year, basically, because casting has gone really weird, and it's just taking a break from it at the moment because it's just really strange. So I'm trying to just live off the gig economy, and it's a pretty difficult one. And it's even more difficult when something for like this is a very much big cause for contention amongst the public and the actual riders themselves. Delivery riders getting illegal e-bikes seized. So an illegal e-bike, what is an illegal e-bike? It's basically a sort of a standard bike that has been converted, and it's got a big sort of like a black thing on the wheel, like at the front, maybe at the back, and it's in the middle of the wheel, and it's a high-powered motor that makes them go like insane amounts of speeds. And these bikes are very controversial. They are very dangerous. They're not safe at all. And they do actually have a sort of history with causing fires as well. So they are not safe. And it's an issue that we face as riders because obviously the faster they go, the more orders they get. And the less attention they pay, the more risks they are going to bring to themselves and give the riders who use regular push bikes, perfectly legal bikes like myself, and obviously the scooters and people in cars, they're just going to give us a bad name. And in actual fact, I think they have already given us a bad name. So most of the riders who had illegally modified e-bikes seized in the City of London in the past year were food deliverers trying to get a faster vehicle to do their job, the head of a specialist unit seizing the bikes has said. Now, one of the reasons why I think that this happens a lot, why they get these illegal bikes, is because the pay is not great. Sorry, delivery apps. I love you. I love working for you. But out of the three that actually has the best pay, there is only one of them that has the best pay. I've never seen an order that is lower than like £3.30, I think, on one of the apps. New figures released by 27 police forces to the PA news agency show a steep increase in the numbers of seizures of e-bikes which have been illegally modified to go faster than 15.5 miles per hour, the speed at which they are required to cut out under UK law. So what it means by cut out is that the electric power of the motor stops the pedal assist and then you are cycling by yourself. Okay, so if the pedal assist goes above the 15.5, then that bike is illegal. You can modify the legal bikes, it is my understanding. I've not done that to mine, but it's not recommended. You shouldn't be doing that. And you know, the perfectly legal bikes all carry something called an e-pack sticker. Anyway, so police will just check it. If you see the e-pack sticker, they can also check the computer on the bike. You're good to go. Speaking to the BBC, City of London Police Sergeant Stuart Ford, who leads the Cycle Response Unit, explained the vehicles did not need to be insured, and the vast majority of the ones his force seized were used by deliverers. In response to the BBC, food delivery service Deliveroo said it would not work with any riders caught using illegally modified bikes. Now, that's a problem because one of the requirements that we do when we sign up for Deliveroo is we register our vehicle. It's so easy to just take a picture of another vehicle. The broad term e-bike is commonly used for the electric powered bike, but it can actually refer to very different types of equipment which are covered by different laws. So this is a little bit about e-bike law. Bikes which have a small electric motor which helps cyclists to move the pedals have the 15.5 miles per hour, 25 kph speed limit, and their motors cannot exceed 250 watts of power. These are electrically assisted pedal cycles, and under the law, these are treated the same as a bicycle, and therefore riders do not have to seek insurance. But I actually do have insurance on my bike because it's an expensive bike and I don't want to get it ruined or stolen. And I use lacquer for that. Illegal e-bikes are more powerful and reach higher speeds and are not necessarily illegal in themselves, but under the law they are classified as motorcycles and should not be driven without a license on the roads. Modification kits, some of which are sold for as little as £300, can also be used on regular bikes and allow them to potentially reach speeds as fast as 60 miles per hour. And I have seen that down my high street. And the speed limit down my high street is 10 miles per hour. Or is it 5? No, it might even be 5, actually, because it's pedestrianised. Across the UK, figures show 937 e-bikes were seized in the year to 11th of August, up from 511 in the previous 12 months, an increase of 83%. God, I don't know who wrote that, but they should grammar check that. The PA News Agency received responses to Freedom of Information requests from 27 out of 46 police forces it contacted. The largest increase in e-bike seizure was Wiltshire. Police from Scotland, Derbyshire, Northumbria, and South Wales. City of London police recorded 295 seizures, which was more than any other police force that provided figure. London's the capital. It's pretty big, especially for these delivery companies, although it did not have a comparable number for the year before. Speaking to the BBC Radio 4's Today programme, Sergeant Ford was asked if most of the e-bikes seized were being used by delivery riders. He said this was true in the vast majority of cases, especially ones which are being adapted, he said. I think the majority of the bikes that I see in my area are adapted bikes. So it's actually good to see that the seizures have actually started in other areas of the country. I don't think they've started in my area of the country yet, but the police have issued that they will, a flyer, and they've gone round and they've been talking to riders. So I think it will be starting very soon. So they'll buy a normal bike. This is talking about the modified ones. And then they'll buy a kit online of batteries, which are unstable in a lot of cases, throttles and rear hub motors that will turn them into mopeds, basically. The police force, which is responsible for policing the square mile in central London, set up its cycle response unit in July last year in response to community concerns about road safety and antisocial behaviour. Earlier this year, City of London Chief Superintendent Rob Atkins said, "Some people have told us that they have nearly been hit and have seen most riders mount pavements and run through red lights." This is very, very common. I actually do not believe that any electric bike, even my one, should actually be on the footpath. Now, with my one, I think it should be on the road, and then if we have a separate cycle lane that is on the footpath, then it can go on there. But most of the time, the pedestrians ignore the fact that it is actually a cycle lane, and they shout at you. They go, "This is a footpath." And it's like, no, it's a cycle lane. But I have seen this sort of thing from riders in my area too. They mount the pavements, they're going at breakneck speeds, and on more than one occasion, I've nearly been hit by one of these bikes on my own bike. A spokesperson for Deliveroo said it takes responsibilities seriously to ensure the safety of riders and communities where we operate. So, but there's only so much that they can do. Okay, there truly is. They can't control it. They do their utmost as to what they can, as far as they can on their end, from what I've seen. But I think this is a case of them having to perhaps get together, working with the police, having the police seize those bikes and get the rider's details or the details of the account that's being used illegally, and then Deliveroo close that account. And same with Uber Eats, and the same with Just Eat. Riders are required to use legal and roadworthy vehicles at all times, and as with all road users, they must follow traffic laws and regulations. I don't see many riders doing that. There are some that do. There are even some who are legal immigrants who work here who actually do acknowledge the traffic laws. So there you go. They do, but it's few and far in between. Potential law changes. Efforts have been made to tighten up rules for cyclists generally and specifically for anyone using illegal bikes prior to the conclusion of the last Parliament legislation spearheaded by Tory MP Ian Duncan Smith, I haven't seen that name in a while, would have been made dangerous cycling a specific offence. The law change, which would have come as part of an amendment to the Criminal Justice Bill, was not passed in time for the end of last Parliament. Speaking on BBC Radio's 4's Today programme, Duncan Smith said he would continue to campaign for a change in the law. It's getting cyclists within the highway code so that dangerous cycling or cycling that causes often or injury are prosecutable offences, and for cyclists to understand that they are not above the law, he said. Now, the shocking thing about that is I'm going to actually agree with the Tory MP. But he's right. Okay, they are not above the law. They should actually be acknowledging the traffic laws. These bikes are way too fast and they're way too dangerous. When I lived in Japan, actually, one of the interesting things about the Japanese and their bicycles out there was each bicycle actually had to be registered to its owner. I mean, you can't really put big number plates on the bike, but we had to have like a certain type of seal, I think it was, that actually had a registration number for the bike, and each bike came with its own unique registration number. I don't see why we can't actually do something like that, register a bike to someone's name, but maybe have the registration number sort of engraved in some way. I don't know how they would go about that, but basically I agree, these riders are not above the law. They make it dangerous for everyone. They give the other riders who ride perfectly legally on mopeds and cars and ordinary bikes and e-bikes like myself a very bad name. And whilst I think that Deliveroo on their end has done, and Uber Eats and even Just Eat have done what they can to make sure that the correct bike is registered to the account, so to speak. I think they need to actually come together with the police and start working with the police. And when the police do their crackdown, like I said earlier, actually present the Deliveroo, Uber and Just Eat details and get those accounts terminated, because it is illegal. I don't want to begrudge people out of the job, but maybe if they actually started doing this, then that would actually encourage other riders to go, oh, this is a problem, let's go and change my bike, because we don't want to lose our jobs. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. Chat about it, don't shout about it, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.